pop on a restop now, and then the maiden one, that's the red one, which is fine. They're all talking about hiding and going for tiddles down here. I've definitely found the best shot, I think. Good morning. We are out and about, and I'm not alone. Look, I've got the mini Brady Bunch with me. Down there is one of Monsal Trail's viaducts, where the big tunnels are. I've been up and down there on a bike before now, the Escute mountain bike. I've been up and along there, and I'm going to go and do another one along there as well. I'll take my camera out and do some riding around while it's summertime. But yeah, we're out and about. I was at a loss this weekend, not sure what to do, and Julian mentioned in the group, he said, oh, I went about doing Monsal waterfalls. Never been there, sounds like a plan, let's do it. And here we are, this is what we're doing. Last night I actually went down to the bottom. There's a lovely little parking bay, but there's big red sign saying no camper vans, big red sign saying no overnight parking, and big sign saying fishing. I'm like, should I stay, should I not? In the end I didn't, I come back to the top. So we're in a lay-by, which is okay. It's out the way of the car park. And yeah, we're gonna head on down and have a look. But I do know it's a long way down and a long way back up. They're all talking about hiding and going for tiddles down here. Yeah, we've come down the hill a bit more. We actually took the longer slope, and I can hear water. I was in Wales last week and there was no water around at all. There was hardly anything, but we can hear water, and with my bad hearing, that's a bonus. But this down here looks really dodgy. I wouldn't want to be walking down there. It's obviously a spin-off to the waterfall. But yeah, I can definitely hear water, so we're coming up on it now. Now on top of the waterfalls, you can see the waterfall's like a weir. Really quite pretty, to be honest. It's got lovely shapes in it, and there's plenty of water to give you lots of interest. And that's because the water's backed up, obviously, and then just pouring off. Now I've just had a look and see if I can get down in these trees, but I can't. It looks like a load of twigs and stuff at the bottom, so we can't shoot this way. What we can do is make our way around and go over the other side of the river and get onto that platform, and then we'll be looking this direction. The sun will then be off to our left. Yeah, there's definitely something here, even a couple of intimate shots, maybe zooming in a little bit. But what I'm going to do is talk about shutter speeds for waterfalls, I think, and show you the difference between longer and shorter shutter speeds and how you get the different movement, and then try and work out the optimal speed so you get the interesting little bit of a flow, but you still get everything quite still and static around it. These guys are parked here, so we're going to stop here. Oh look, and there's a little bridge. So you haven't got to go far, the bridge is only just there. So that's pretty cool, you can get on the bridge, come back around the other side. So first of all, looks like we're going to shoot from this side first and get a couple of shots of it. And actually it looks quite good when you get below it. You've got a nice canopy of trees behind it, just to sort of black out that sky a little bit. The light is actually coming into the camera from this direction, so you probably would be better off on the other side today, or at least this morning. There's some spray coming off, which is quite nice. But the backlit trees in front of it and the bushes, they do add to it. So I'll get the camera out, get it set up on the tripod, and then we'll have a look and see what we can do. So this is where I have a bit of an issue with my camera, because I have an 18-55 in my kit bag. I have my wide angle lens, my 10-24 or 22, and I've got my 70-300. And I have said once upon a time I've got this gap between 55 and 70. This is where I've got a problem. I can't get that optimal distance, so I'm going to have to do a bit of fancy work now to try and work out how I'm going to get this waterfall. At the moment I'm going to shoot it quite close though. I'm going to shoot it at 70mm on here. I've screwed on my Maven adapter ring on the front of my lens, which means I've got my filters handy now. And I'm going to pop a polarizer on and see what that does. That's always the first start whenever I'm around water, is put a polarizer on and see if it gets any difference with the glare. And it's taken off a little bit of that sheen, which is quite nice, so we haven't got that bright white sheen poking through and the sun reflecting and bouncing back, which is definitely helping on the image. And there's a rock right in the front with a bit of greenage on it, so I'm going to focus on that. And then either side of the waterfall is then framed with these two little bits of green foliage from the bushes. I've got my electrical level on as well, which is quite good, which means I can get the waterfall level. I can hear a bird that's distracting me up in the trees. And I'm just going to take a test shot to start with, put my 2-second timer back on and have a look and see what I think. And it's all really about the main waterfall with this focal length. I want to come further back, that's definitely what I want to do, but I'm going to have to work on how I'm going to set that up, even if it means going further back down and shooting in with the longer lens. So that's actually quite a nice shutter speed, standard straight out the camera. I'm on f11 ISO 125 and it's given me about 50th of a second, which means the little water droplets are sticking up, but where the big cluster of water is, there's actually a bit of movement. So I haven't actually had to do anything. F11 and that seems really good, and where the light is backlit, it's actually lighting up those little bits of water, so you're getting these little hints of shiny stuff where the water's just splashing up, and I actually think that works quite well. Heading around the other side, as you can see, I've got the smaller lens back on, and it's too far, so I just definitely can't get that position where I want, and the light flare is quite harsh where it's shining in your face, so I'm going to get around the other side and have a look on the other side of the river. So on the other side of the river, it's definitely more interesting. I put the longer lens back on again because I need to obviously get that reach to get in there, and 70mm still probably isn't quite wide enough, but what I might try and do is a bit of a focus, is a pano stack, so I might try and take sort of 4 images and stick 4 together. In fact I will, I think I'm going to do that first. I'm going to try that now while I talk, so I'm going to sort of come down and left a little bit. In fact I'm going to go right to get me start on the side. So I'm going to take one first of all with my hand in it, so I know that this is the image I'm going to start with. Then I'm going to take one with the bank on the right hand side, and I'm going to lift up maybe 2 shots, go one there, so I'm going to lift up with 2 so I can get the tree line, and then again go up, and then hopefully the waterfall should be part of the image rather than it being dominating and being the main part of the image. I may even take 6, I may come all the way across. The problem I've got is I've got a foreground tree or bush that's going to sort of dominate that bottom corner a little bit, but yeah, this might be a way of getting it all in, shooting with a longer lens. I'm focused on the little bush just in front of the waterfall, and then hopefully we should get a nice image with everything in. Like I say, too far away for one lens, too close for this lens, so we just need to make it all work. But I do like the tree on the right hand side, and you are getting some sort of spray coming off the waterfall, but I'm just not sure whether you're seeing it in the image. It'd be a dreadful shame if you don't, because I think it's really nice. So that's that shot taken. I've done that. Let's just put my hand back in front again so I know that that's that one. I'm just trying to get that center line off of the exact center line of the image, but I do like the backlit trees, they're very pretty. And I've just noticed that Chris is still in the image. Oh well, I'll have to clear him out. I'm going to try this. Maven has sent me one of these. This is the 82mm, which fits my adapter ring. This is the 1/4 mist. So mist. It's not a mist. It's a diffusion filter, which is basically like giving it a misty haze. I'm going to put it on and see if it makes a difference. So again, I'm going to take a picture with the box in front, so I know that this is a bad photograph. With a great big box in front of it. Now I'm going to take a standard picture as it is set up with the camera. Then I'm going to take this out of the little box and I'm going to pop this on the front and see if there's any difference with it. Yeah, it's a clear lens, but it's just supposed to add a little bit of diffusion to the image and give you a slight softer, hazier image. So I've put it on the front and I'm going to take the image and I'll put the two side by side on the screen. I'm interested, can we see any difference? Does it make any difference? It's very hard to tell when you're actually just putting them on when you're out in the field, because it's so bright out here that I'm not sure that you'll see it. The magnets are very, very strong, but what I'm hoping it's going to do is it's just going to give it a little bit more of a, yeah, I can just about see it, give it a little bit of a softer feel around the edges, but still being focused and sharp. So hopefully it'll give it a bit more of a dreamy effect. I'll try a panoramic now. Because I've got the zoom lens on, I can't get in everything that I want to. I want to try and sort of do a bit of a swipe across the image. So I'm going to flip my camera around. I'm using the Atoll, which is dead easy. Flip it around like that and lock that off. And I've also got a leveling base as well. So I just undo this little clamp there and I just get my camera set exactly where I want, which is not handy with one hand. And I've got a little bubble there that tells me that this is exactly level. So all I've got to do now is get my level straight on my camera. So the green level's now straight on the back of the camera. And now when I pan from left to right, the camera is exactly in a level plane. So once I've got myself set up with the image, go from the left, make sure that's right, go to the right, make sure that's right, and just take the images as I go across the image. Simple's really, isn't it? Right, so we're going to move a bit closer now, so I'm going to take this lens off. So just take my polarizer off, put that back in my little pouch. And I did mention this little pouch before, but this is our new Maven pouch, this nice pretty blue one, which is pretty cool. So we'll put our polarizer back in there. There's lots of slots in this as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots in there with a nice little waterproof zip, so keeps everything nice and compact. And I just clip it on my bag and it's attached there then. So I'm going to put the other lens on, move up a bit closer and see what we can do closer up. Oh, it's all go, isn't it? Look at the state of that lens. Let's give that a bit of a blow off. In here we always carry a little blower in my bag as well. Just get rid of some of that. And while we're here, we might as well give the old sensor a bit of a puff as well. Right, lens on. Lens caps on. Let's get going. I've definitely found the best shot, I think. I've got my lens on. I'm at 40mm and I've come up to the edge of the water, so I'm getting this nice dark patch of water at the bottom. There's a little bit of a glare going on where the frothy bit is, where there's a little bush. But I've got this beautiful overhang of this branch coming over the top of the waterfall, and I think that actually makes it frames this waterfall in the middle, and you see it's really dark. I'm going to bracket it just to make sure I've got everything, but the fact that the light is all on the waterfall because the sun's beaming down on it, it's really the brightest part of the image. Really I do quite like that. I'm just on the wrong shutter speed. Let's start again. I was looking at birds just now, the feathered kind. So yeah, I was on a ISO 400, which we don't want. So ISO 125, I'm at 25th of a second. I'm just going to check back on the exposure and just see whether we've got the movement. Go back to a single shot so I know what I'm doing. And I think that is definitely being framed really nicely. I may just put the filter back on as well, just to add a little bit of a length to the image. But it's quite dark around the outside. I like this dark. I like the light backlit coming through the trees, but it's quite dark and it's just all pulling you into the center of the image. Shutter speed of 1/5 of a second. Just going to check that for movement. Beautiful, fantastic bit of movement. I'm hoping you can see this haze as well, that the water's lifting up, because you are getting this spray as we're moving up close. I'm going to look for waterfalls, but I'm going to look for rainbows in it. If there is one, we've nailed it. But this, I think, is a really pretty shot. I've come over the other side now, further closer up to where that big lump of rock was, and I'm just stood in the trees at the moment, and I've got two dark trunks of trees framing either side of the image, which I actually purposely did because there's like a little pumping thing, a stop valve or something on the bottom, and I wanted to keep that in just for the first shot. And I actually think this, now I've looked at it, will work really nice as a vertical shot. If I zoom in a little bit, let's just lock that off. If I was to zoom in and just get rid of the sky and add these rocks and the lines just leading through, yeah, I think that works. We've got some movement in the trees above, the waterfalls in the background, so the rocks and everything's just, the lines in the rocks are sort of taking him in. But I will have to clone that out, or the wind's just caught it and blown it away, which is typical. But yeah, this is a vertical shot, which is quite nice, looking down the rocks. But now I'm definitely going to get closer, maybe put the wide angle lens on, stretch all these lines in the rocks maybe, and get this waterfall. But I can't see any rainbows at the moment, but there's got to be one there somewhere, hasn't there? There really has. But yeah, I like that as a shot. And I even think spinning it round, I'm going to actually get one with this pump in it, just framing it with the trees and have this pump in the bottom left hand corner, because it's part of the image, it's part of being here, so we'll add that to it as well. Standing right in front of the waterfall now, and I'm getting a bit of spray coming across, which is not easy. I've taken a load of shots with this lens, but I've just decided, I've just taken a couple of photos on my phone, and the wide angle looks really, really good. In these conditions, it's really, really hard to shoot a photograph in this. I was going to talk about shutter speeds, but it's almost impossible to talk about shutter speed when the sun's so bright, because I'm just playing with it and balancing, trying to balance what I've got to get the highlights out. So what I am going to do is put the wide angle lens on and take a couple of shots with the waterfall looking smaller, but using the rocks as leading lines. And I think that might work, because the phone shots look really, really good. So let's just put this one on. I'm going to spin the camera around so I don't get the spray actually in the lens or on the sensor, and yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. Well, I've been over and had a little look. I walked over and I sort of got on the rocks a little bit and thought I'd try a few closer shots and stuff like that. But yeah, I got over on the rocks over there, shooting that way. I've used these rocks and these rocks down here as sort of leading lines. I've got a big sunspot there, but I put the polarizer on because you get a reflection in there of the tree, and then you can sort of tame it down to get the water looking through. But the water in the middle there is beautiful. You know, it really is a beautiful looking lump of water, and it'd be nice to go in there for a bit of a swim, I think, but it's not really me. Well, I think we're about done. I've just taken one more shot back up on the top here looking down, and I've got a really bright tree on the right hand side which is holding the frame in, and then we've got the waterfall, and you can see it's all man-made, which is obvious anyway by its shape. Just a bit of a wider angle shot of where we are and where we're stood. Nice one to finish off with, really. Yeah, not very technical today, but it's very hard with these harsh white lights. You know, the sun is beaming down. It's a pure blue skies you can see up in this top corner here, and the sun's beaming down, so it's burning out all the white highlights in the top of the waterfall. And when you sort of expose or underexpose for it, it makes everything else very, very dark. So I might be able to balance it in an image. We'll have a look when we get home and process them. I'm sure we can turn something into it. Got a banging selfie. Chris has took a selfie of us down there. We've done a long exposure while I stood still. So that's my thumbnail, and I'll pop it up for you and have a quick look at it now. Really, really good, quite smart. But yeah, waterfall's done. Monsal Head Trail, which is where we are, and like I say, I will be back again for a bit of a ride on the bike. So now it's time for coffee. So don't forget, like and subscribe, give us that thumbs up, it's all very important. And yeah, quite a simple one really today, just shooting this waterfall, nothing fancy, nothing extravagant, easy for me to say, extravagant. Just looking for different positions, different angles, and hopefully there's one or two you like. If there is, let me know which ones, and till next time, ciao for now, see you soon, ta-da.